Well, it's Monday, and I know you're all excited to hear about what we're talking about today. Me too. And we're going to get right to it in just a second. We're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves today. That's right, I saw a early release for it, so don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this. Ooh boy.
Previously on the Nerdy Ronin Network.
Hey, Squeaky. You know what? Let me tell you. She's got some really nice, bowling fingers. You know what I'm saying? That's right. Happy Monday, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for being here as always. I hope your weekend went well and you're ready for the work week. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, of course. And down in the description below are some things we love here. And we thought you might as well, including our merch page from flagranttriggers.com. So check that out right down below. Now we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it right away today. A little history. When I was younger, I played Dungeons & Dragons. I know some people think that's horrible. Some people don't care. Some people find it fun and amusing. And I enjoyed it. Game playing, tabletop game playing is fun. I owned numerous games that were tabletop games that required you to use your imagination. It wasn't just a board and figures. It was your imagination ran the game. So it's exciting because it's never been done properly to hear about a Dungeons & Dragons movie. Today we're talking about Honor Among Thieves. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Okay, that's the title. Silly title in my opinion, but whatever. But just so you know, I did play Dungeons & Dragons when I was younger. I don't have a problem with it. It's an interesting concept for a movie when done properly, I think. So let's take a little gander here. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves 2023, PG-13, 2 hours and 14 minutes, and man was it 2 hours and 14 minutes. Whew. It comes out on the 31st of this month, but I saw an early release. Directed by John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein. Now, John Francis Daley, he's a great actor. He was in Bones, if you were a fan of that show, which I was. It was written by, looks like everybody, Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, and others. Okay? Now look, I'm going to get down to brass tacks. I came across the fact that Amazon is having early screenings for Prime members, and I happen to be a Prime member. So I went to an early screening. They just happened to have one here where I'm at. And I wasn't really interested in going to this movie. Not because I didn't want to watch it, but because there's been a lot of bad press about this movie coming from some of the people in it and some of the people who made it, about just SJW garbage. So the fear of all true fans and nerddom, if you will, was that, again, they've just taken something that nerds have loved for years and they've messed it up. But since it hadn't come out yet, nobody knows. So of course, I paid for my ticket and I went and saw it yesterday. Now, I'm just going to be upfront about it. If you go back to Tom Cruise at the beginning of Maverick, Top Gun Maverick, Tom Cruise comes out before the movie. There's a clip of him talking about he appreciates the audience and the fans and thank you for coming and watching their movie. And regardless of whether it was sincere, it came across as very sincere, and you believed that he was appreciative that you were showing up, buying a ticket. Okay? Well, now others are trying to do that. And that was the first turnoff of this movie, sitting down at the theater And before it starts, the entire cast, the main characters, talk about how you're a hero because you came to the theater to watch this movie the way it was meant to be watched. And it did not come across as sincere. It came across as pandering and bullcrap. I'm sorry. Not only was Chris Pine dressed extremely weird in normal clothes, they just did not come across as sincere. It didn't. And I will say this, the theater that I watched it in was half full, and I know because they announced themselves, the majority of people in this screening were a group of tabletop gamers locally. Okay? Because they took it upon themselves to announce that if you're interested in joining their group, they have a Facebook page. Congratulations, you guys. Here's what I noticed right off the bat is the group of tabletop gamers were extremely happy with this movie. And it had nothing to do with it being good. Obviously, when you play this game, it's really fun, just like with comic book readers, when you see your favorite comic book character on screen. This was a big deal. That being said, this movie is mediocrity at its finest. The jokes are not funny, and it's just non-stop jump scares throughout the movie. And I don't understand why. Like, it could have been good. The storyline is decent. But there's only two white men in it, as the main characters go. One is the villain, and one is an idiot. Hugh Grant plays the villain. Chris Pine plays the idiot. Over and over and over. And in the end, do they succeed in what they're trying to do? Of course, they're the heroes. And I'm not going to ruin anything. I'm not going to spoil anything. But you knew going in that they were going to succeed at what they were trying to do. But in the meantime, it is a constant barrage of making Chris Pine look foolish while everybody else around him is kind of amazing. The one exception is the mage, and he's not real good at being a mage, but he tries real hard, and he's a guy. The women in the show can do no wrong. It's unnecessary and it's silly. You have a good storyline, tell a good story, and people will come watch it. And I believe this movie, although it disguises itself as for nerds or for a certain group of people that have a love for tabletop gaming, this movie is for the normies. And it's frustrating. And I'm not reviewing this based on the fact that the woman behind me was coughing from the time she came in to the movie ended. And I had to come home and take 4 showers. Because if you're sick, why did you go to the theater? Or the fact that our big movie theater here in town, which there's 2, a smaller one and a big one. And this was at the big one. And every single employee was masked up. And there's bug signs everywhere. What are they doing? It's over with. Stop it. The small theater, which is with the same company, isn't like that. Doesn't have that everywhere. Why are they scaring their employees? However, the woman that kept coughing on me should have been masked up, in my opinion. And she wouldn't shut up either. Once I decided to go see this movie, I wanted it to be a good movie. And it's not I told Nerdy Wife this, it's not a bad movie. It's just following along the lines, the same lines of men are bad, men are stupid, men are dumb, and it's up to the women to do the right thing. And if you go see this movie, the very end of the movie, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. And it's a shame. They had the chance to do something great, but they couldn't help themselves. And then in the run up to the movie coming out, they're continuing to run their mouths about how proud they are of the SJW garbage in this movie. Congratulations. It's not as bad as everyone thought it would be based on your crap, but it is there. And it's unnecessary. And there's nothing special about this movie. It is mediocrity. It is just... And you really misstepped with the main actors telling everybody in the theater what heroes they are because they're watching a movie the way movies are meant to be watched with other fans in a theater. Idiots. You came across as idiots. So there you have it. I'm not going to spoil anything. Me and Bob and Squeaky Chair were all irritated because this is not what it should be. It should just be a good story, and that's it. Why can you not see this? Why do you consistently fail because of this? This movie is not going to make $1 billion. Because it's not good enough. And you were more concerned with pandering garbage than telling a great story. For the fans of Dungeons and Dragons. Way to go. Now I could be wrong. Maybe it makes $1 billion. But I don't see it. Not at all. It's just not good enough. It's subpar. The one bright shining, actor in this is Hugh Grant. Because he's a good actor. But he's the villain. So he could do what he wanted, basically, as that character. And he does a great job. Anyway, I got to get out of here. I hope you have a great week. I hope your Monday goes well and your Tuesday goes well. And we'll be happy to see you back here. We're going to talk about John Wick on Wednesday. So thanks for being here, as always. We love you guys. I'm sorry to have to report this movie is exactly what the trailer makes it look like. It just mediocrity. I'm sorry. So for Michael the microphone, Bob, Squeaky Chair, and this big fat irritated nerd. Have a great start to your week, and we'll see you on Wednesday.